Good evening, everyone. The February 27th meeting of the Marion County School Board is called to order at 5:44 p.m. Mirroring and modeling the way our students begin each day, I ask that we observe a moment of silence at this time. Please join me. Thank you. Board Member James, will you please read our board commitment statement?
I'm sorry, I thought I was going to have a printed copy.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Got it. We are the Marion County School District Leadership Team. When we come together to work, we are efficient, effective, and productive. Our three most important characteristics are dedicated, transparent, and individually responsible. To work well together, we must demonstrate respect, confront reality, and be accountable. We will always put students first. We will leave a legacy of success.
Thank you, Board Member James. For the courtesy of those listening to the meeting, I am requesting everyone in the audience to please turn off your electronic devices or put them on vibrate. Later in the meeting, up to 30 minutes will be provided for individuals to address the board on matters concerning the operation of the Marion County school system or the school board only. Presentations to the board are limited to 5 minutes and are televised. If you wish to address the board regarding a regular agenda item or matters on which the board customarily takes action, you must first complete a peach form located in the lobby. If you wish to address the board regarding a public hearing or a student discipline matter, please complete a lime green form. These forms must be fully completed and received by the board clerk no later than 5:40 p.m. The procedures applicable for each are on a separate sheet. Board clerk, please call the roll.
Dr. Allison Campbell, District 1.
Here.
Mrs. Lori Conrad, District 2.
Here.
Mr. Eric Cummings, District 3.
Here.
Mrs. Nancy Thrower, District 4.
Here.
Dr. Sarah James, District 5.
Here.
Student Board Member Blake Barnes from Forest High School.
Here.
Student Board Member Devaya Nundur from Vanguard High School.
Here.
Dr. Diane Gullett, Superintendent.
Here.
Mr. Jeremy Power, School Board Attorney.
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Good evening, Dr. Gullett. Will you please introduce the member of your team who will be helping us with tonight's inspiration and pledge?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, student representatives. Great to see you all this evening. Let me clear my throat one more time. I am pleased to have Kathy Oddie come forward from Career and Technical Education, who is our coordinator, and she is going to introduce some very talented students. And I also want to say a special thank you to Lori Zink because of her work in our community. We had one of the best kept secrets in town is the Ocala Film Derby, and so you're going to hear a little bit more about that tonight, board. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. Good evening.
Good evening, Chair Thrower, Vice Chair Conrad, board members, and Superintendent Gullett. Last year, our Business Advisory Committee for the digital video programs came up with the idea to create a brand new competition for video students. This advisory committee is led by Lori Zink, as she just mentioned, who championed the idea and created the first annual Ocala Film Derby, which took place this past September. Students in the Film Derby spent 4 days working on a video to enter into the competition, which culminated in their videos being shown at the Marion Theater and awards given out. Students worked in teams guided by a teacher and an actual mentor from the video industry. Tonight, we have the winning team of students, mentors, and teachers here to recognize. First, I'd like to introduce Lori Zink, our advisory chair, who made this event possible. If you want to join us down. Next, I'd like to introduce Mike Palma, who served as the industry mentor on the team. And then the teachers who created this team and helped this come to fruition. We had Marcia Dobbenai from Vanguard High School, David Guest from Forest High, and Frank Gallagher from Bellevue Middle, Travis Bennett from Lake Ware High, and Andrew Opitz from Westport High.
Good evening to all of you.
Step down towards the stage if you want, I think. Yep. And now we'll introduce the winning students. From Lake Ware High, we have Sierra Stevens and Edwin Cole. From Forest High, Parker 2, Suriana M, Samantha Anderson, and Louise Simi Day. And from Bellevue Middle School, Ella
Just start
Gutierrez.
clapping. We can't wait any longer.
So please join me in congratulating all of them. And we do actually have the winning video for you guys to watch, as well as a sizzle reel for next year's competition. So I don't know, do you guys want to do a picture first? Oh, no, go ahead and sit down.
We'll watch the video and then we'll come down after the pledge.
Just this, please.
That's odd. You paying cash or card?
Cash.
And what's your name?
Morgan Morgenstern.
After all this running, I finally caught you. So majestic, it's so fragile.
Stay away from me.
You're so beautiful.
What do you want?
You are not what I want, Morgan Morgenstern.
You don't want to do this.
Yes, this is the hill I will die on. Yes, finally, at the ancient Aztec totem!
Wait. Whoa, you don't want to kill me?
This is what I wanted all along.
Ancient, mystical, magical, what?
I was just going to say.
Absolutely, please come forward to the mic. Not at all.
So you all understand a little bit better that this was actually a 9-hour film challenge. So these kids at 8 o'clock on a Friday morning were given a card, and on it there were 4 things that had to be in every single film. One of them was a line of dialogue, which was, "This is the hill I want to die on." The character name, which was Morgan Morgenstern. The Each time, we're going to do a downtown landmark that has to be in every film, and this one was one of the Walk of Fame plaques. And the paddle was a prop. And so every team and every student had to work their script, their dialogue, everything around these 4 items. So I know it's a little difficult when you don't see it. If you see them all when you get a chance, I hope you'll look at all of them, and you'll see how they were used. And this winning team not only won the People's Choice and the judging, they also won the best use of prop. So anyway, so I just wanted to make sure that you all understood what that was all about. So, thank you.
Madam Chair, may I ask one other item? Ms. Zink, you and I talked about the ability for our students to engage with people they haven't worked with before during this challenge, which is also, and I think, another critical skill. Could you talk about that?
This is not a school-to-school competition. The schools, which I'm very excited to tell you that all 7 high schools have signed up for the 2024 competition, and 3 middle schools at this point. And what we do is we take the teachers of each individual school, the kids that are interested and are selected to be in it, then those teachers identify if that student is an editor, a screenwriter, a camera person, whatever student, the teachers can speak to that. And then what we do is we pile them all together, like in a big bowl. And we pull the camera, like it'll be like, this is for the cameraman. And so, and we make sure that none of these teams are stacked with one school or the other. And every team, for instance, this year, we will have 7 teams of 10 people, and they will consist of it's 7 high school kids, 2 middle schoolers, and 1 alternate. And so we always want to put the middle schoolers too with high schoolers so that they can have that opportunity to really learn and be able to also see and understand and meet some of the people that are in the programs they might ultimately choose to want to go to or attend. So that was, I think that's and we're very excited this year. Last year, I think the students will tell you that they won some nice prizes for their winning film. But our ultimate goal, or my goal this year, is to include into our winnings or earnings or awards will be scholarships for students that have an intention to go to college. So that's our big goal this year. And we already have our dates set, so we're looking forward to being able to share all this with you throughout the year. We do have a sizzle reel that can tell you a little bit about this year, but our dates are, and we hope you'll put it on your calendar. September 18th will be our opening reception. The 19th will be a work day with all the teams. Team selection is the 18th. Work day, including 5 different workshops for the students on the 19th. And then the 20th will be filming. And then the 22nd will be the awards presentation at the Marion Theater. So we really hope to see you all at all or part of those. So thank you again for all your support.
Absolutely, and thank you, Ms. Zink, for providing all of the context, and it's the whole process is just incredibly professional and creative and fun. As I was watching the movie, I thought at the beginning, this is kind of riveting and then borderline scary. I didn't know where it was going to go, and I'm not really a fan of those kinds of movies.
Yes,
so I thought funny at the end.
And I would be remiss if I didn't have the opportunity here to thank our downtown retailers and organizations that helped us. Ocala Main Street provided golf carts. We had restaurants and sponsors and everybody who were involved to provide food and to do the awards and everything else. There's quite a team involved in driving this forward. But I think these students here would tell you that it was worth it. Yeah.
I bet you had a great time doing this, and you're so right. It takes a vibrant, connected community to help make vibrant, connected schools. And on behalf of the Marion County School Board, we could not be more grateful to the adults and the work that you put in and your passion and dedication to kids and this industry to help make this happen and pull it off so well. So I'll be looking forward to watching the rest of the videos.
And this committee, these teachers are the Ocala Film Derby Committee. And I want to recognize Mike Palma with Palma Productions, who was the mentor for this winning team. And every team has mentors that are industry professionals. So my hat is off to all of them. So.
Yes, congratulations, and thank you very much for partnering with our kids. So we'll go ahead and do the pledge, and then we'll come down and take a picture. Or maybe make a video.
Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's go down and take a picture.
Sounds like you've done this before.
So, Ms. Daubenmeyer, you know what I'm going to say. Everybody wants to be on the back row. Reverend Cummings, if you'll scoot in just a little bit, I can get you. There we go. Everybody's looking right here. And a couple more. One more. Great. Thank you.
Long night, y'all. Marking it down.
Quite a few parents. Where were we at?
The real? I got my snacks.
We had the sizzle reel.
From it?
Awful. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Have a reel. It's a double feature.
Yeah, it's kind of distracting.
You're doing the other video.
Evan said there's nothing you can do about it, though, so.
I'm so sorry, guys.
We will keep calm and carry on. Let's go.
You're good.
Oh, we have one more segment to watch?
No?
No.
No,
No.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your clarification. So we will move on to our final recognition? Okay. Dr. Gullett, I understand we have one more recognition this evening. Please introduce the member of your team who will be helping us with this recognition.
Certainly, my pleasure, Madam Chair. Members of the board, I'm happy to have Deb Riedel come forward, who is going to introduce some special guests to help us recognize Black History Month. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Riedel.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. At this time, I would like to introduce Principal Newmans from Fessenden Elementary with her special recognition.
Fantastic. Good evening, Principal Newmans. Good to see you.
Greetings. Good evening. Greetings have actually already been established, so we're going to move right into our recognition. We wanted to take a moment to really just kind of share out with you guys that we had a very special event at our school, and it was called Legacy Day 2024, and it was a Black History community engagement event. One of the things that we're trying to establish right now is to really build more community partnership in that area, and our PTO and our Alumni Association, they've been doing this for some time, but we wanted to do something on a larger scale. So we kind of went towards community. So we had several folks out there. The Marion County Public Library was there with us, NAACP. We had representatives from the Lowell Correctional that helped us with grilling and everything. So we're just trying to build partnerships. But tonight I want to recognize one of my students. I was actually recognizing two, but one of them had to be taken to the hospital after school. So prayers for her, but the other is here. And this student is one of our students that we like to say they have big voices, because even though they like to talk, they talk with purpose. So tonight we want to have her share with you. Tonight this is Renaya Best, one of our fifth graders from Fessenden Elementary.
Thank you. Hello, Ms. Best. Let's pull the microphone down so we can hear you.
Hello, I am Renaya Best, and I am here to tell you about the history of Fessenden. On February 17, 2024, our school celebrated Legacy Day. Our theme for the day was remembering our past, celebrating our present, and preparing for our future. We want to share the presentation I presented on that day. First, we will remember our past in 1889. Fessenden was built by Ferdinand Fessenden. He founded this school during the time when segregation was prominent. He opened Fessenden Academy for all Black students so that they could get proper education. After Mr. Fessenden passed away, the school was able to increase the teaching staff and the student body to over 200 students. By 1903, Fessenden became an all-Black high school, which was the only Black school of its kind in this area. And I feel like Mr. Fessenden did the right thing to build a school for the Black people. How do you feel about this? Now it's time to talk about the present. Now that it's 2024, we have a school with all kinds of color and we have amazing teachers. And now we have over 400 students here and we are very happy. We do a lot of events to keep the happiness and Mr. Fessenden's name alive in the world like this. With all the events that we do and with all the kids that attend to the school, there are a lot of kids that are grateful to be in this school every day. Now it's time to talk about the future of Fessenden Elementary. Over the years, we're going to have more students as time passes and the future is in sight. We know that Fessenden Elementary School will continue to grow and be a legacy for generations to come. Shout out to our amazing fifth grade teachers, Ms. Desmond, Ms. DeFiore, and Ms. Graham, and our amazing leaders and staff members of Fessenden Elementary for their constant support, help, and knowledge they share with us daily and love they spread. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you. We definitely want to come down and take a picture with you, young lady. But Principal Newmans, did you have something else?
I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity. I shared with Ms. Riedel when she showed up. Dr. Gullett was there also. Ms. Thrower was there. We were able to honor, our PTO rather was able to honor 9 of our Black administrators on that day. Ms. Thrower was there to help with that. We had about, even though we had rain, we had about 200 that actually came through. So we're just super excited about what's happening at Fessenden. So thank you again for the opportunity to recognize our babies.
Thank you, and it was an incredibly special morning for everyone, and that includes me. And to hear Renaya share her special essay for the second time, it's really pretty neat, isn't it, to go to a school that has such special and significant history. I would think that would be pretty cool as a student, and now you know so much about it. So that's pretty neat. They get very quiet when I but we want to come down and take a picture with you, young lady. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, here we go.
Fabulous job, young lady. Well done, well done.
Cut her out. Okay. It's always an amazing way to start the evening with the recognitions and all the special activities and accomplishments of our students and all of the adults that support them. But we do need to move on. Dr. Gullett, will you please make a recommendation on tonight's school board meeting agenda?
Certainly. I recommend approval of the agenda for the February 27, 2024 school board meeting with the materials in the board packet, those materials distributed to board members at the meeting, and the audio recording included as part of the official record of the meeting, with the exception of the following items: D20.1, D20.2, D20.3, D20.4, D20.5, D20.6, D20.7, and D20.8 have been placed under discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. May I have a motion on the superintendent's recommendation?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Vice Chair Conrad.
Second.
Second by Board Member Campbell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the January 25th, 2024 administrative briefing and work session?
So move.
Moved by Board Member Cummings.
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Conrad. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the February 1st, 2024 administrative briefing and work session?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Board Member Campbell.
Second.
Second by Board Member James. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously 5-0. Ms. Martinez, please provide the proof of publication for tonight's school board meeting.
The notice for the February 27th, 2024 board meeting ran in the Ocala Gazette on February 16th, 2024. The proof of publication has been attached in board docs under proof of publication.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. I will now ask the school board's attorney to explain the rules governing persons who wish to address the school board this evening. Good evening, Attorney Powers.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair. In compliance with Section 286.0114 of Florida statutes, the school board has adopted uniform procedures for public speakers who wish to speak at this evening's meeting, either regarding one of today's agenda items or a matter relating to the operations of the school district. These procedures will ensure the public has a reasonable opportunity to be heard on school board and school district matters. A written summary of these procedures are available from the table in the lobby. Public speaker forms are also located on the same table. The completed forms were due to the school board's clerk no later than 5:40 p.m. This evening, speakers will be called prior to the business portion of the school board meeting in the order of receipt by the school board clerk. Before you begin speaking, please state your full name for the record and spell your last name. Each speaker will have 5 minutes of time. However, if there are more than 5 persons who wish to speak, the board may seek consensus to limit each speaker's time to 3 minutes. When the speaker has 1 minute remaining, the speaker will receive a visual notice to complete his or her comments. Speakers may not yield their time to other people. Speakers and meeting attendees are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. Therefore, verbal attacks and profanity are strictly prohibited. Pursuant to the procedures for public comments, item 6, speakers are not to identify specific individuals other than themselves or their child unless the statement was provided 24 hours in advance. The board is here to listen to your comments only. You may be directed to an administrative staff member following the conclusion of your comments for further assistance or to address your concerns. If there are matters dealing with student discipline, including expulsions, they will be scheduled at the conclusion of the televised portion of this meeting. Parents may address the board regarding a discipline matter at that time. To ensure student privacy, only a parent or guardian may use a student's first or last name. Identifying references to or identification of other students or their families are also strictly prohibited. A speaker's speech does not reflect the endorsement, sponsorship, position, or expression of the school district. Thank you for your attention to the board's requirements. Madam Chair, that concludes my explanatory remarks.
Thank you, Attorney Powers. Ms. Martinez, do we have any speakers this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 2 speakers. Melanie Slaughter.
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Slaughter.
Good evening. Melanie Slaughter, Slaughter. I'm here to talk in favor of cursive handwriting. I have a number of people that I help that cannot sign their name, that can't read a birthday card from their grandmother because it's written in cursive. And the brain development for cursive handwriting shows that it helps students stimulate synapses in their brain between the left and right hemispheres. It helps them develop fine motor skills. It helps with cognitive development. It helps in language development when they are trying to learn another language. And it also allows them to remember more. If they write something in cursive, study shows that they remember it more than if they don't. And what happened was Common Core took over. And when my son was in the 5th grade, my oldest, he wrote every week in cursive. He wrote an essay every single week. And then when Common Core took over, they did away with writing. And our students do not have the ability to read and write in cursive. They can't read the Constitution. They can't read the Declaration of Independence in the original document because they cannot read cursive. And I think we're doing a disservice to our children that they cannot do that. And so I don't know what the solution is. I'm glad Common Core is gone because I don't have to watch YouTube to help my elementary student with math because I didn't learn it the way that they taught it in Common Core. But not being able to write is a disservice to our students in cursive. And not being able to read the documents that this country was founded on is a disservice to this country and to our ability to educate the next generation of how important those documents are. So I'm asking the board to consider implementing some type of ability for our students to learn how to write in cursive. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Slaughter. Dr. Gullett, I'm under the impression that there is some instruction still continuing in cursive handwriting, but I think it's on a teacher-by-teacher basis. I know it's not part of curriculum standards and things like that anymore, which is a shame, but I just wasn't sure if there was more information that you may have that I didn't, just that someone could share with Ms. Slaughter on what we're currently doing.
Sure. You're correct, Chair. The former standards have changed, so they're not explicit instruction. Many teachers teach them incorporating those with other standards in context. But Ms. Riedel is in the audience, can provide some examples of how that's done, but they have changed, the standards have changed, and they're not as explicit as they once were.
Okay, yes, it would be good for Ms. Riedel to at least share with Ms. Slaughter what we are doing, and with us too, if...
Us too.
Yes, you could share with us too.
Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I also wanted to note that yesterday, just on a tour of our culinary programs, we learned that we have some students who are exemplary culinary and baking students, but are not able to get their Wilton certification because they're unable to write in cursive for birthday cakes. And that's required for them to be able to actually get that certification. So, Ms. Slaughter, your suggestion is heard loud and clear. Now, the question is, do we actually need to work with DOE and potentially even the legislature to fix something in statute and DOE standards? And that's a fight that this board is willing to take on if that's what it's going to take. Ms. Riedel.
Yes, hi, and Dr. Gullett is correct. We don't explicitly teach it necessarily. Every grade level has writing benchmarks within the communication benchmarks. Third grade does have a cursive component, but that is the only grade level that explicitly has cursive. Well, I say explicitly, not explicitly, but there are cursive benchmarks in third grade. Typically, during that third grade year, students do learn and practice it, but it is not something that's required.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And yes, I echo Board Member Campbell. There's nothing wrong with talking about making that one of our legislative priorities for next year. This has been an ongoing concern in the community. A lot of us have heard about it. A lot of us have, as teachers, see the change. And so I think that it was a point very well made tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Slaughter. We'll take our next speaker.
April Rose McCoy.
Good evening, Ms. McCoy.
My name is April Rose McCoy. That is ROSE-MCCOY. Good evening, Chair Thrower, Superintendent Gullett, and board members. I'm a special needs para at Forest High School. I'm here to officially introduce myself as the new Marion Educational Support Professional Union President. Over the past few months, I've had the opportunity to visit nearly all of the Marion School and their work sites, meeting with members of the bargaining unit. The MESP represents 3 dozen job classifications and well over 1,000 employees. I may be a bit biased, but without us, the school system could not function. Work site after work site, I continue to be amazed at how dedicated our employees are. This is not a career. This is a career, excuse me. It's not a job. And it's one that each and every one of us take great pride in, and they deserve much respect. In my travels, I have found that our employees are exhausted. They are feeling the effects of the continuous shortage that we're having, whether it's from our unit or the instructional side. Paraprofessionals are teaching full-time. Clerks are assisting in the clinics. IPCs are bringing home work because students can't learn if they are not properly registered in classes. Those working at non-school sites are feeling the pinch too, as they continue to be stretched to the limit. Many leave their work sites each afternoon, and they actually head to a second job just to make ends meet. Many of them have asked me what can be done to recruit and retain employees. And I often hear, if the board only knew what we do every day. Recently, they have asked me about the compensation and classification study that the district is conducting. ESPs and those working in the public school are overworked and we're underpaid. Maybe that's the reason why we have so many vacancies in Marion County and across the state. Something needs to change. I would like to challenge the board to walk in our shoes. As you visit the schools, spend some time with our ESPs and shadow them as they provide the services which our kids and schools need every day. I think you will be very impressed. Once you're finished, maybe we can sit down and discuss how we can make Marion County Public School a place where there will be an overflow of job applicants. As I said earlier, our educational support professionals deserve much respect for what they are bringing to Marion County school system. And remember that you can't get respect without ESP. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCoy. And I will share with you, as an employee since it started in 1997 as an ESE classroom paraprofessional at $5 an hour and had to work 2 other jobs. I certainly do, and I know the rest of the board does, empathize and also really appreciate and respect the work that the unit does on the daily. So thank you very much for coming before us tonight. Welcome to your new position, and we certainly look forward to working collaboratively with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other speakers?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, this next item is for information. Board items 8.1 through 8.3 are information only per board policy 6345. The superintendent is authorized to approve and execute any construction contract change order that will increase the construction contract amount by $25,000 or less, or that will decrease the construction amount. Moving on, may I have a motion to approve consent agenda items C10.1 through C19.1, with the exception of items D20.1, D20.2, D20.3, D20.4, D20.5, D20.6, D20.7, and D20.8 that have been placed under discussion. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Motion by Board Member Cummings. Second by Vice Chair Conrad. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously 5-0. We'll move on to our discussion items for tonight. May I have a motion to approve the First Amendment with Cognia Incorporated?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Vice Chair Conrad.
Second.
Second by Board Member Campbell. Dr. Gullett, do you have information you would like to share regarding this item?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board, you may recall that some time ago I brought forward a recommendation for us to move forward with district accreditation with Cognia. I think it was important to move beyond just our high schools to all of our schools and set the bar for our students. And so this contract recommendation, this amendment, is to extend the contract so that we can continue the work. We hope to hear final word on our district accreditation status soon, but this will allow us to work through June of 2025. And if there are any additional questions, we're happy to answer those.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. It's great to know that we will have the opportunity to be an approved district, as you said, across the board, not just high schools. It seems like a worthy cost of $100,000 to make that happen. Is there any other discussion from the board before we vote? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agreement with Cambridge Assessment Incorporated, LLC?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Board Member Campbell.
Second.
Second by Board Member Cummings. Dr. Gullett, do you have information you'd like to share regarding this item?
Certainly. This item is a fairly high dollar amount, over $900,000, and wanted to have some context provided. As you recall from our strategic plan, one key area that we're focusing on is adding rigorous courses to our schedules for our students to be able to be competitive when they graduate, like our wonderful school board representatives here tonight. And so this is a request to approve the agreement with Cambridge.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. Is there any discussion from the board? Okay. Hearing none, it's just a great opportunity to support our students that are working in such an accelerated way. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously, 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the RFP 4037RC for contracted alternative school provider?
Move.
Moved by Board Member Cummings. Second by Vice Chair Conrad. Dr. Gullett, do you have information you would like to share regarding this item?
Yes, and Dr. Hembrook, Dr. Livingood are going to come forward, but Board, this is a request to reject the bid. We received one bid on this item. It was considered non-responsive, and Dr. Hembrook and Dr. Livingood are going to provide some context to this and our plans with alternative programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Hembrook and Dr. Livingood.
Good evening, Chair Thrower, Vice Chair Conrad, board members, and Superintendent Gullett. As the superintendent mentioned, we have an RFP that was advertised on January the 10th, and it was a request for proposal for a contracted alternative school provider. All those proposals were due February the 9th at 2 p.m., and MCPS only received one proposal by the deadline, and that proposal was deemed unresponsive. And so today, we're asking you to reject the RFP for the contracted alternative school provider. But to ensure that MCPS students receive rigorous education opportunities, and then also to meet any exceptionality needs and services, a committee is working to identify how we can best accomplish this. Last year, we started with adding an alternative program at MTI. That was a first step in addressing our student needs. So the committee is developing program options for the 24-25 school year, and we look forward to bringing the proposal and plan back to the board in the near future.
Thank you, Dr. Hembrook. Dr. James.
To clarify, we contract currently with a couple different programs. CERMI, New Leaf is the names we use often. Can you clarify for everyone, does that mean that we will not be contracting with them next year?
The committee is right now looking to see what we can do, what exactly are the needs for our students, what we can do, what facility needs, and so we're determining that now, and then we'll bring that back to the board.
So what was the purpose of this? Were they supposed to apply for this and did not?
Right, so the current contract does expire June the 30th of this year. And so this RFP was set out there to solicit additional proposals.
Okay. But the existing individuals we contract with were not expected to apply to this? Or they were?
We send it out to all of those vendors that are listed under this umbrella for them to submit a proposal.
I'm going to ask a more pointed question. The absence of applying for this RFP, is that an indication that they are no longer interested in working with Marion County Public Schools?
So we did receive one proposal, and it was considered our unresponsive, and it was our current contract provider.
But outside of that, we're assuming that this is the state of where we are. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was crystal clear.
Thank you. I think Board Member Campbell had something, and then we'll go to you, Mr. Cummings.
Thank you. So my understanding of where we are currently is the existing provider that has been providing services for us did send a proposal in that mirrored exactly what their proposal has always been. It did not respond to the stipulations within the current RFP, because the team has worked diligently on this RFP to ensure that it provides some of the things this board has talked about with the academic rigor and the attendance requirements and things that we really are looking for in an alternative provider. Whereas we do have an alternative provider currently, their response to this was just their current arrangement and not with the rigor that we have included in this RFP. And that's the recommendation, to reject the RFP so that we can wait on the team. Is that my understanding, Dr. Hemberg?
That is correct.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Right.
Sure. Okay. That's what I had. Thank you.
You bet. Board Member Cummings? Okay. It was the same. Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously 5-0. Thank you. Moving on, may I have a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Marion Education Support Professionals?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Board Member Cummings, second by Vice Chair Conrad. Dr. Gullett, do you have information you'd like to share regarding this item?
Certainly, thank you again, Board. This item is a request to consider an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, that was created with the Marion Education Support Professionals that defines hybrid work guidelines so they may participate. And Ms. Morant leads that work with our negotiations team and is available with any specific questions you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. We'll open it up to the board for discussion. Any comments? Yes, Vice Chair Conrad.
I just have a few comments. I first want to thank Ms. Morant. She got back with me rather quickly today when a few conversations arose within the community. I am a supporter and have been asking for hybrid work options. I think it's important in our recruitment and our retention. Where I just want to make sure that we're clear, and I was looking through the guidelines this afternoon, some concerns that have been brought forward to me are, and I'm just going to read it off the handout, must have a home office living space isolated from distractions. The space should be isolated enough to establish when an employee is working and when they are not. And so that's a concern that's been brought forward in other hybrid situations. And I just want to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for success as our staff members are working from home, and we're clear about that expectation as our staff reach out to get problems solved, get questions answered, that response is timely and thorough and professional. And so I just wanted to bring some light to that situation, that although I'm excited for these opportunities, I do think we have to be vigilant in making sure that we are receiving the best from our hybrid staff members. So, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Conrad. Is there any other discussion from the board? would say that I certainly echo Vice Chair Conrad. We have passionate, dedicated employees, many of whom overwork on a constant basis, but the expectations of the job are the expectations of the job, no matter what the location is. That's my interpretation.
I do have one more thing. I think, just in looking at this, I think there's an added challenge for our supervisors to make sure that hybrid work is being done correctly, and our supervisors can't correct or encourage better behavior if our staff members and administrators don't bring concerns forward. So there's a lot of parties that are responsible to make this a success. And so I just wanted to bring a little light to this as we move forward in offering hybrid opportunities, so we make sure we're meeting the needs of all of our staff.
Thank you, Vice Chair Conrad. Anything else from the board? Okay, ready to vote?
Ready to vote.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously 5-0. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the construction of an elevator lift at Building 4 for Vanguard High School, which is project number 23-138. I never realized an elevator would cost $706,000.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Board Member Campbell.
Second.
Second by Board Member James. Dr. Gullett, do you have more information you would like to share regarding this item? I just shared my astonishment at the price.
Well, precisely, Chair, you said it. And I was going to say, Board, the next 4 items are grouped together purposefully because they're construction related, and due to the cost, we wanted to bring these forward under discussion. But precisely that, this first item is to meet the ADA compliance, and it is costly, especially with aging facilities.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. Is there any discussion from the board, comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the demolition of old cafeteria building and play courts and construction of a perimeter fencing system at Phoenix Center as part of New Technology Information Services Center Project 24-100?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Vice Chair Conrad.
Second.
Second by Board Member Campbell. Dr. Gullett, do you have information you would like to share regarding this item?
Thank you. Yes, again, more than $750,000 is requested here to take and repurpose the land that we already own to make way for that Technology Information Center and prepare the site.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. Is there any discussion from the board? Okay, all I wanted to share was this is just another step towards moving all of our staff out of the old school board building downtown into a new facility. We all know how important technology is to our core business these days, so it'll be wonderful to have an updated place for them to be.
Precisely, and that vacates that block that we had in our old district office, so more to come.
Right, that's right, that whole block, yes, certainly. And then there's some buildings behind the old school board building as well.
That's correct.
Right. Okay, is all ready to vote? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the lighting systems upgrades at Vanguard High School, which is project 23-137?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Vice Chair Conrad.
Second.
Second by Board Member Campbell. Dr. Gullett, do you have information you'd like to share regarding this item? Bless you.
Yes, this is another one of the pieces of evidence of our aging facilities. The buildings that we're trying to update, the lighting is 17 years old, and so we have brought this forward for discussion due to the age of the building and the cost it takes to do the LED lighting at Vanguard High School.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. Is there any discussion on this item?
Just one quick comment.
Yep.
And Ms. Dobbins, correct me if I'm wrong, because we got a lot of information the other day on our facilities tour. But as we were going through Lake Weir High School, there were pockets within the school where it was much brighter and illuminated so much better. It was just clearly evident. We were having some conversation about that as we walked through, and it really and truly made a difference, not just in the atmosphere as we were walking through the school, but as a student, having better lighting, of course, is so important. So I just wanted to make sure that I got that right, because there was a lot of information that we got on that day.
Yes, so we visited several schools the other day, and Denellen Middle School, I think, was the one we pointed that out. But you can see it in any of our schools. If they have fluorescent lighting, they're different shades of lumens, and we do have code to meet the lumen requirement in classrooms. But most of all, the baluses are obsolete, and getting those replaced, it's just more efficient to upgrade them to LED.
Thank you, Ms. Dobbins.
Thank you very much. Board Member Campbell.
Sure. While we're on the subject of lighting, I was in one of our newer schools today, probably one of the newest schools that we have, which is still, 20 years old or whatever. But I was in one of our newer schools, and the reception area didn't have the lights on immediately over the reception area. And I said, "Oh, you're in the dark." And she said, "Yes, because it's like a sauna in here because of the lights." So they literally don't have the lights on at the reception desk because it becomes, so we're ready to make efficiency a good thing, and this is costly to become more efficient. But hopefully, once we have the cost of the LED system put in, then we won't have to replace those bulbs for 20 or 30 years, hopefully.
Yes, if I could add, so the bulb replacement is less, saving money in the long run. It's less electricity to run them, and then you save on air conditioning due to the heat output being lessened. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dobbins. Board Member James.
Just for perspective, since it got brought up, North Marion Middle School got everything redone in the last school year. And so if you have been out there, it is noticeably just a better quality light. I was in the auditorium for the kickoff to Black History Month at the beginning of the month, and well, you were there too. And it just feels so much brighter and lighter, like a cleaner light. And so it was I was chatting with Mr. Johnson through it, and it was a lot. It's a big undertaking because it's a significant change for an entire school. But when you get to the other side of it, it really is a really high quality product for the teachers and the students. So,
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Dobbins. You good? Okay. If there's no more discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously 5-0. Thank you. We will move on. May I have a motion to approve minor renovations, $2 million worth. It seems like an oxymoron. Door and window replacement at North Marion High School, Project 23-107. May I have a motion, please?
So move.
Moved by Board Member Cummings.
second.
Second by Board Member James. Dr. Gullett, do you have information you'd like to share regarding these items?
Well, I think you covered it, Chair. Just to add that the buildings where this work is going to be done that we're requesting for replacing needed windows so they close properly and doors, those buildings were built in 1963. So you know what happens to windows and doors after a lot of use by our students.
Absolutely. Thank you. Is there any discussion from the board? Sounds like more than ready. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously 5-0. All right. I think we made it through all of them.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Board. We'll move on to Board Committee reports and concerns. First, we'll start with legal.
Nothing additional from legal, thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Powers, and thank you for your continuing great work, you and your team, and on all of our initiatives that require your close, precise attention.
Thank you.
Ms. Martinez, anything from your seat?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Dr. Gullett.
Yes, briefly, just a few items, Board. Thank you. It is Celebrate Public Schools Week, appropriate when we talk about making sure that our facilities provide an environment conducive for learning. I want to remind everyone that the Southeastern Youth Fair concludes on Saturday already, so I know we have a lot of great participation by our students and our community. Did want to follow up to an item we provided an update on at a recent work session, 8th Street in Osceola, with the potential for them to consider a K-8 model, and they have concluded the surveys, and Ms. Kynard, I think she contacted all of you board members. They are not moving forward. Everything's going to remain as it is based on all the feedback from the stakeholders. And with the notion of Celebrate Public Schools Week, I want to do a special thank you to Ms. Dobbins. We are midway through this week's facility tours, as you've referenced earlier, and we appreciate all of the media and community involvement and support in what we're showing as a critical need for our schools. I've been asked repeatedly, especially by media, why do we need to show this? And it's because it's a need, not a want. And our students deserve the right to be in healthy and safe buildings that are conducive for learning. So more to come. We are working already on plans to extend tours in the future as we continue to go forward, and I think that will be important. But appreciate our elected officials that have come out. Thank you, board, for participating, and I know we'll see more people and community members on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. It really is important to share our schools. They are our community schools, and to share the need. And I would say, that a lot of times we hear different things in the media about schools that we wish were more positive, but I feel like we're getting a lot of positive, balanced, accurate, reporting on the critical needs that we do have and our plans to make everything so much better. So that's wonderful. I think while we're on this side, we'll go ahead and move on to our student board members. And I'm so sad that this is your last meeting with us. It went by like that. and you kind of got cheated because we had one board meeting because of the weather, when we didn't have you here. But it certainly has been a joy to have both of you. So we will start with Ms. Divya.
Hi, I just had a little bit of commentary to add to some things that we've seen tonight from a student perspective. So regarding the cursive, I completely understand and support the usage and the implementation of that in our schools, not only because it's been important in things like forming a legal signature for me, but also in some of my IB exams, we're actually required to use different fonts. Like in paper 1 of the Spanish exam, we're required to make a brochure and we have to use a different font for subtitles and headings. And as someone who was taught cursive in elementary school, I have greatly appreciated it. Also, just with the Cambridge assessment, again, just great things happening because I saw that with that in the commentary, it comes with the Bright Future Scholarship, and that also comes with IB, and that has been greatly helpful as someone who's going to college next year. So, yeah, and then just at Vanguard with the elevator at Building 4, we only have 2 buildings on campus that have 2 floors, and Building 4 is the one that does not have an elevator. And with someone who has had a leg injury and crutches and has seen like entire classrooms move from the upstairs to the downstairs simply because students can't make it upstairs, that will be greatly helpful. And yeah, just thank you for having both of us, and thank you for giving us time on the school board and giving the student body a voice. Thank you.
Absolutely, it's certainly been our pleasure, and we always appreciate your input and your participation. It's really been so beneficial. Yeah. So, and we'll move on to you, Blake.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Gullett, Chair Thrower, Vice Chair Conrad, Ms. Campbell, Mr. Cummings, Dr. James, Attorney Powers, Board Clerk Martinez, thank you all again for having me in this position. It truly is an honor to be able to serve as a representative of my school and to witness and be involved in the policies that affect all of Marion County, all of their students. As a student currently in AP Research, I've chosen to study the impact of student leadership organizations on school climate. And in my studies, I have found that the student voice is one of the most underused outlets of change, and yet it stands as one of the most important factors in creating a successful policy. I believe that this position makes incredible strides to increasing student involvement. It creates a space for the student voice to become consistently heard, and it allows a glimpse into the broader workings of our school system. I could not be prouder of my school district for implementing this position, and I believe this is a remarkable step for the entire community. Again, thank you guys so much for having me during these few meetings and allowing the student voice to be heard loud and clear. I hope this district can continue to move forward in the same exemplary manner. Thank you all for your time and commitment to the school system. Thank you.
Thank you, Student Board Member Barnes, and it means a lot to me personally as the chair during your time here to have you with us. It was our intention for a long time to do this, and the pandemic kind of derailed things like that, and then Board Member Campbell really resuscitated the idea and put the work in as the board member, being the liaison to bring this to life. And certainly very, very grateful and appreciative. I sit here and I wonder, have you picked a college yet?
I'm very close to deciding. We're almost there.
Okay, well, you'll have to email us, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please reach out to Board Member Campbell so she can share it with the rest of the board. Yes.
I'm about 85% sure I'll be attending the University of Florida, but I'm still waiting to hear back from everything out of state at the end of March, so.
All right, considering taking your talents to UF. All right, well, wonderful. We certainly wish you well, and please keep in touch. And I think Board Member Cummings has said to each of the students, it doesn't stop here, it starts here. So anything we can do to help, reference letters, things like that, let us know.
Thank you.
He's like, okay. All right, great, thank you. All right, Board Member James, we'll shift down to you.
Awesome. Good evening. I want to start by saying we started the night with some monumental approvals as a board that I'm really excited about. I asked Ms. Boston Ellis if the district had ever borrowed money like this before, and she said no, not to her recollection. And I think that it just marks the start of a really great journey as a board. We're leading this district in making some tremendous decisions and addressing pain points that have been around for a while. And I just wanted to acknowledge the work of everyone who's played a part in getting us to this night and the difficult decisions that we have collectively made together to move this work forward. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that. Speaking of that, I just had a few quick questions. I know that the Board of County Commissioners is having a public hearing on March 5th regarding the impact fees. Is there a date set for them to have a follow-up meeting to vote on the impact fees?
I'll check on that and email to each of the board members. I believe it was March 27th or 8th. I have to look at it, though. So
Okay, thank you.
I'll find that and get that information to
That would be wonderful.
Yep, we want to get that on our calendars for sure.
Yes. Are we moving forward? I know a couple of us, including I think Dr. Campbell in the last meeting, have mentioned the warehouse. Do we have Ms. Dobbins probably knew I was saying this. Do we have a date on when we're going to be able to get that appraisal or moving forward, or what does that look like?
I'm sorry, Dr. James, the echo, it's hard to hear. What's your question? I know it's hard.
The warehouse, the parcel that we vacated downtown.
We are going to get an appraisal on that. Per our last conversation, the team's working on that.
So that will be something the board has to approve?
We'll be bringing that forward to the board when we have the appraisal done. That was based on a conversation we had at a work session, correct?
Yes.
We are moving forward with
If we have a timeline that we establish for that, that would be great if we could get that shared.
We'll send that to you.
Okay, thank you.
I know you'll make sure all board members get it.
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
Final question I have. Did we make a decision on a separate meeting for the discipline affairs? Okay, perfect. If you're going to bring it up, that's perfect. So the last thing I want to mention is Ms. Slaughter came forward and talked about cursive instruction this evening, and having been a high school English teacher myself, I definitely recognize that there is a gap for some students, but I also want to acknowledge that there are a lot of teachers teaching cursive in elementary school. And I don't want to discredit the work that they're doing. My daughter's in first grade, and her first grade teacher is teaching her cursive. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the work that a lot of our staff and teachers are doing to deliver cursive instruction throughout our schools. I think it's definitely a place where we could strengthen our instruction delivery, but I wanted to give credit where credit was due. So that is all I have for tonight. I'm proud of the work we're doing as a district, and I look forward to keep on keeping on.
Great, thank you, Board Member James. Board Member Cummings.
Good evening to everyone. Please forgive me. I've been some things that tickle in my throat, so that's why you hear all this coughing and stuff. This has been a very, very, very informative meeting. We've done some monumental things tonight in the early parts of our meeting. Huge steps going in the right direction as far as construction, making sure that we're moving our district in the right, with the right momentum into getting better schools, bigger schools, more modern, updated schools. So I want to thank the board for proceeding forward with that. A couple of things. I had the pleasure to, last week and this week, to visit a couple of schools. One was Forest High School, my alma mater, Blake. It was good. I was there. Dr. Cameron and I were there for their Black History program. Truly, it was a wonderful, wonderful evening. They had food from everywhere and all kind of stuff. And I want to thank Ms. April Rose McCoy, who did push that program out, and Principal Rembrandt. But then also on yesterday, I got invited to go to Sunrise Elementary, and they had a tremendous project. They had Black History Project. It wasn't a program, it was a project. And I was invited by Ms. Hazelton and Ms. Capers. They're second grade teachers, but they don't teach second graders. They teach students who are almost third graders. That's how they define it. And it was truly an awesome event. I saw kids that did projects on historic figures that were vital to the United States being what the United States is. And I was amazed at the caliber of the presentations that were given and how these kids were able to articulate their projects. Sometimes we think with Black history that you'll only hear the people of Dr. Martin Luther King or Michael Jordan, but I was pleased to hear some of the kids' presentations on Mae Jameson and Alma Thomas and one of my favorite artists, Stevie Wonder. So it was truly a good morning to hang out with those kids over at Sunrise. And again, shout out to them for all that they are doing. It was truly a wonderful morning. I do want to commend our student board representatives. You guys were truly a pleasure to be here with us this past few weeks. Even though Davia is at our rival school, Vanguard, but my son's there, so I gotta like Vanguard.
Have to support them all.
And then Blake, my alma mater, I appreciate everything that you guys brought to the board. Your comments were very informational. They were pointed, and they were on point. You represented the Wildcats very well, so I'll give you that. I encourage you to continue to do whatever your passions push you to do. I think you guys have a wonderful future, bright future ahead of you. And again, as board chair Thrower said, if there's anything that this board member, I think this board can do as far as you going forward, please let us know. Don't hesitate to let us know what you need. My final thing, I Oftentimes, I get phone calls and emails from folk, from parents, from community members about something that's going on at the school or something that's going on in the classroom and oftentimes there's like, you board, that board, this board has made decisions, and let me try to say something, and I pray that I'm saying it right. When I look at education, when I view the Marion County Public School District, I don't view it as a you or us against them, or we against them, or them against us. I see this as a team effort. I see the team working for a common goal, and that's education. On that team, I see the students. On that team, I see the parents. On that team, I see the teachers, the principals, and the administrators. I see the complete team. I see the district as a whole. So oftentimes, teams don't do well when they don't communicate with each other. So I want to encourage our community. I want to encourage our parents and our students to not necessarily circumvent or jump things, go beyond. If you haven't talked to the next teammate, talk to the person that's at that school, talk to the teacher, have conversations. And let me say this, and I'll say it, and people may get mad, but social media is not how you talk. You don't talk to parents and teachers using social media. You pick up the phone and you call them and say, can I have a conference? Or you send an email and say, can we talk about this situation? Because ultimately, it's about the student. It's about doing what's best for students and helping the students succeed. You don't have to jump straight to a board member. You don't have to jump straight to the superintendent. The teacher is the one that sits with that kid every day and knows best what's going on with the classroom. And if you doubt that things are not what the teacher is saying, then ask that you come and look in the window. I think sometimes we would be surprised at how our kids are when they're not with us. So I encourage us to remember that proverb, that it takes a village to raise kids. And we're all in the same village, and we want to make sure that these kids get everything that they need, and we want to make sure that we are good teammates in this process of education. So again, we're heading in the right direction, but we can't head in the right direction if we're not communicating with each other. So again, I want to encourage our teams, our members of our teams, to start talking a little bit better. And please don't do it on Facebook, because Facebook is not the way to do it. That's my comments for tonight.
Thank you, Board Member Cummings. Board Member Campbell.
Thank you, and thank you, Board Member Cummings, for saying that. I distinctly remember one of the reasons, at least why we talked about having a district Facebook page, was potentially to combat the existing Facebook page that started apart from the district having a Facebook page, and still trying to circumvent all of the things that are continuing to be discussed. But thank you for those comments, for sure. I'll kind of go in order of the things that were discussed tonight. So first of all, thanks to Ms. Slaughter for talking about cursive handwriting. My youngest son was in the third grade whenever third grade cursive was upcoming after spring break. And then we went on spring break that lasted forever, and they never came back. So he completely missed that. There are teachers that are teaching cursive handwriting, but I do believe there has been a gap for sure when Common Core was really present. And so students that are in advanced grades, we have a gap. And so I would welcome the opportunity to potentially champion that as one of our causes in the future, similar to what we talked about recently in a work session about transportation being one of our, priorities in the future legislative sessions, about how we're not funded fully for transportation and how the formula potentially could look different for those districts that don't have access to public transportation and have the land mass that size ours is. So I'm looking forward to some of these conversations, because I think we're already formulating future legislative priorities that I think we could be champions for in the state. While I mentioned that, legislative session currently is in budget conferencing. You probably all have seen that. So both houses are in budget conferencing, and we're just awaiting those final details on a lot of the legislation that's still, you can kind of follow the media really to see what bills are not getting traction like they thought they were going to, and what things will be picked up in the future. But continue to appreciate our lobbyists and our Florida School Board Association to continuing to update us on where we are and where we land. Tonight in the consent agenda, we approved 3 deductive change orders. While we didn't have to approve them, they were points of note that we don't have to officially approve, but they did total more than $113,000, so anytime we can save money, always appreciative of that, so wanted to make that comment. Also tonight, we approved in the consent agenda the public hearing for March 26th to approve our revised board policies that this board has worked diligently on. We have the responsibilities of budget and policy, and so anytime we can do deductive change orders, that's budget. Well, anytime we do anything money related, it's budget. But anytime we're working on policies, then that just culminates what our official responsibilities are. Looking forward to March 26th and actually being able to put that stamp of approval on all that hard work we've already done. One of those board policies that we will be approving, hopefully, all things considered, will be Board Policy 0141.4, which is student representative to the board. And so we started this ahead of actually having the policy fully approved. We already knew this was the direction that we were wanting to go, but I'm grateful for the student voices that we've had. Thank you to both of you for being wonderful representatives, not only of your school, but just of students in general in Marion County. Part of how this continued to come about, I know the board previously had talked about it, but how really this came about even more so was sitting in front of students and talking to them as a guest speaker and telling students the role of a school board member and asking them if they had any idea how many student emails we receive. And when I told them the number is, I think maybe 1 in 2 years, even on start time changes, even on any major decisions that this board has, the number of actual communications that we receive from students are few and far between. So having you sitting here provides that voice, provides the constant reminder that we are helping every student succeed, and we have students here telling us that every day. So thank you. I'm grateful that this board has moved forward with this and that we will be able to solidify this in policy on March 26th. Also wanted to note, as Dr. Gullett said about celebrating Public Schools Week, for those of you who follow, speaking back to Facebook, who follow Florida School Board Association CEO Andrea Messina, she put out the question this week, where did you go to public school? And so I'm saying loud and clear, while my education was not in Florida, it was in Cleveland, Tennessee. I went to Mayfield Elementary, Cleveland Junior High, and Cleveland High School. It was the last year for the junior high. They moved to middle school the year after I left. But I'm still a huge fan of the junior high model. So I was a proud public school student, and I have 3 proud public school students currently in our district. And I am the mentor to a proud public school student who my mentee showed her lamb at the Southeastern Youth Fair, so I got to see that in action on Friday. And just all the great vendors even there that are supporting and being available for students, and just all the families there and all the sales, I heard that the steer sale I think went till 11:30 last night. So nevertheless, just grateful for all of that work that's being done and the number of students that are participating and the life skills that they're learning, even in arts and speech and cooking, baking, there's something for everyone at Southeastern Youth Fair. So it really is just a great time, and looking forward to that wrapping up. They're just great partners, and so appreciative. The last thing I wanted to mention was, in light of all the money that we are now asking for and going out for, et cetera, the Florida School Board Association is having an advanced school finance forum 2-day session coming up in Gainesville in April. I only bring this up because we have a school board work session currently scheduled for that April 18th date. I know we only have 2 work sessions. I'm not able to look ahead to see what currently is coming on that April 18th work session, but I just wanted to bring it up to the board. I know I certainly would like to attend the sessions in Gainesville because it's been a couple of years since I've been to it, and it does seem like what they're offering this time is going to be incredibly relevant for the direction this board is currently in and moving toward. So if we could, at least, this is early, we're in February still, but if we could have conversation possibly about that April 18th work session, what that would look like if we needed to move the date or if we needed to collapse some of those things. And that's my recommendation, to see what we could do to move forward so that as many of us who wanted to could attend it. It is in Gainesville, so it wouldn't require a hotel stay. So it shouldn't even require board vote necessarily. We always have to vote on them when they're in Tallahassee and we're going really far, in Tampa and we're having the overnight stays. This would just be the cost of the registration. So that's my request and recommendation, and potentially if Dr. Gullett can get back with us on what that might look like for April 18th. So that's all I had. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Board Member Campbell. And I too would be interested in going. I think I saw Vice Chair Conrad say that she'd like to go, and Board Member Cummings, and, so that's already 4. And I'm not sure, Board Member James, please check your schedule and see what you want to do. But Dr. Gullett, this would be something that would be really worthwhile for the board to attend for sure.
Certainly, I can tell you right now that we have in draft for the 18th an update on the funding program, part 1 of 2, and recommended instruction materials for adoption for 16 courses. I would have to see if we could move those. As you may recall, the other work session is the week prior, and we already have 4 items there. I don't know if those items that I've just mentioned to you would be ready for the 11th, and I will have to check with the team and get back with you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Okay, Vice Chair Conrad.
Okay. I do have a couple of items. Good evening, everyone. We did facility tours, and I know several people have shared about that already, but I just wanted to say thank you specifically to several people, because there was a lot of work and a lot of preparation that went into the first day. We have a second day approaching here on Thursday. Dr. Gullett, Ms. Dobbins, Mr. Duncan, Mr. Knight, Mr. Christian, Mr. Jones at MTI, Ms. Thomas at Bellevue Elementary, Mr. McAteer at Denellen Middle, and Mr. Martin at Denellen High. It was really very informative. It was so nice, if your wheelhouse is not construction or plumbing or electricity, to be able to walk through and see exactly what plumbing from 1963 looks like, what an electrical box from 1971 looks like, and to have them walk you through what the needs are and to be able to see them. So I know everybody had to set aside what they're doing to help us go and visit and tour schools. Our principals had to stop what they were doing, academically at their schools. And so I just wanted to give you my sincere thanks for taking time and all of the preparation that went in and planning for that. I will have to mention that I was disappointed that we didn't have more elected officials. I know that they were all invited, even if they could have made one stop at one school. They could have seen the struggles that we're up against as a district in our aging schools. So thank you again to that team. I also wanted Ms. Boston Ellis and Attorney Powers. You guys have been running a marathon for us between impact fees and sales tax and getting funding and loans for our schools. And so I know that you've been burning the midnight oil, and I just want you to know I appreciate it. It's such an exciting time, but I know you guys have been diligently working behind the scenes to get us to where we are today, and I'm extremely grateful for the work that you are doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to say again that the Southeastern Youth Fair is still going on. We were at the Lamb and Goat Show this last weekend, and we'll be at the Pig Show and Sale this coming weekend, but there's a lot of great things. Just if you're out and about, you just need something uplifting to attend. It really is inspirational. The kids do a great job, so I encourage you to stop by there if you have a minute. I had a comment also, I know Ms. Slaughter shared about cursive writing, and there's been several comments on that, and I'm just going to speak to you from a teacher perspective, because teaching cursive was a challenge for me as a 4th grade teacher. And someone shared a couple of weeks ago, we keep adding things to our educators' plates. Social emotional learning's been added, water safety's been added, internet safety, keyboarding, and our writing assessments have turned to online tools. And so just putting on my teacher hat, it's really frustrating. We only have so many hours in a day, and the list of things that we have to accomplish just continues to grow. And so I just encourage our district staff and our district leaders, we have to make some priorities, and we have to acknowledge that there are not enough minutes in the day to do everything that we're asked to do. Especially if you figure in anything like fire drills, ALICE drills, all of the other requirements that we have that do take, they're important, but they do take instructional time. And so I just want to acknowledge that that is a real challenge our classroom teachers are facing. And I know I enjoyed when I had the opportunity to teach cursive. My students enjoyed it. They would beg to do it. But it is a challenge to find the time during the school day. And so maybe there's someone that's out there doing it well, and they want to share their strategies of how they're incorporating it into their day. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Reverend Cummings, I want to thank you for your comments about teamwork. I too recently, this week, received several calls from parents, and they were upset about a situation, and I just can't express how important it is that you reach out and talk to the teacher first, talk to the dean or guidance counselor, reach out to the direct administrator, because they know where your child is and what's going on. And we're here to help you if that plan is not working, if you're not getting any response there. So thank you for sharing that. I think it's so important to follow the chain of command so we can get things done. And last but not least, I had the privilege of attending the Public Education Foundation meeting. And although I've kind of been on the outskirts of activities that happen in that organization, I really was humbled this morning and really grateful for all of the things that the foundation does for our staff and our students. And so I just had a couple things I wanted to share with you from that meeting. They are still looking for 4 volunteers to help with mentoring. And so there's a young lady at Denellen High School that's in need of a mentor, Lake Weir High School, Vanguard High School, and Westport High School. And so I know everyone here is doing their part, but if you think of someone that might be interested in that position, I just share that out in case they would be interested in mentoring. Another exciting thing that happened is our middle schools and our high schools are going to receive some extra funding from some money funding that was collected from WEC. So our middle schools are going to receive $2,000 for their culinary program, and the high schools are going to receive $3,000 for their culinary program. And so that was really exciting. We know there's needs in all of those areas. A lot of work's being done to help with our mental health issue and initiative, so that was exciting to hear. And also the partnership with UF. There's a New Worlds Reading Initiative. I don't know a lot about that program, but they shared that there would be free books for students, so I was 100% on board with that. Families being able to get good literature to have at home and remove that barrier of maybe not being able to get to the library or have access online. So just a lot of great things that the Public Education Foundation is helping provide for our staff and our students. So just wanted to give a shout out to them for the hard work that they're doing. And I think that is all. Chair Thrower, thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair Conrad. And yes, globally, let the great work continue. Everyone has just stepped up with all of these initiatives to get them across the finish line. The work definitely continues. The momentum is there, and the appreciation is certainly there across the board to everyone that is sitting up here, I want to give a special thank you also to Attorney Powers and Ms. Martinez, as they have had to collaborate on all kinds of different details, you know, so many details. But if it wasn't for the collaboration between all of the departments and staff, then we would not have been sitting up here tonight approving what we approved. So thanks and gratitude to all. And I just wanted to share a couple of meeting reminders. The next administrative briefing and work session has been scheduled for March 7th, 2024. The following administrative briefing and work session has also been scheduled for March 28th, 2024. And it seems impossible to believe that this is our last board meeting before spring break, which is right around the corner. And so I want to encourage everyone to unplug and spend your best time doing what you love the most. And most importantly, remember to come back on the very first day of school. Don't extend your spring break. We need you here. I hope you stay healthy and stay very safe. There's never a good time to go into student disciplinary matters, but tonight I'm going to be reading, if I counted it right, 30 names of students. And it has a JD in front of each one, and that stands for juvenile delinquent. I mean, that's awful. You know, we've just sat up here and talked about all the amazing things we have going on in our school district. And it breaks my heart to know that there's going to be quite a few students, due to their choices that they have made. Maybe they didn't read the Code of Student Conduct. Maybe they didn't think it would come to this. I don't know. But we have got to reverse this tide and continue to reach out to our families and ask them to partner with us, as Board Member Cummings said, and the other board members too. You know, it is a bi-directional thing, and together, you know, we can reverse this, and we really need to sooner than later, because we have way too many exciting, cool things going on to be missing out on. So, with that, I'll conclude my comments, and I will say that before addressing expulsion matters, I wish to acknowledge that board members have received the alternative placement list for students through January 25th, 2024. Ms. Martinez, are there any parents who have submitted a timely request to speak on their child's disciplinary matter?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 5 off air.
Thank you. We'll continue that off air. For now, may I have a motion to approve the expulsion of students JD 24-159, JD 24-160E, JD 24-161, JD 24-163, JD 24-164, JD 24-165, JD 24-166, JD 24-167, JD 24-168E, JD 24-169E, JD 24-170, JD 24-173, JD 24-175, JD 24-177, JD 24-179, JD 24-181, JD 24-182E, JD 24-183E, JD 24-184E, JD 24-185, JD 24-186, JD 24-187, JD 24-188, JD 24-190, JD 24-191, JD 24-192, JD 24-193, JD 24-195, JD 24-196, with educational services for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year and the first, second, and third quarters of the 2024-2025 school year. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Vice Chair Conrad.
Second.
Second by Board Member James. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion passes unanimously 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the expulsion of student JD 24-178E without educational services for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year and the entire 2024-2025 school year? May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Vice Chair Conrad.
Second.
Second by Board Member Campbell. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. I will now call this meeting into recess at 7:28 p.m. to give us a little time to clear the room. Have a wonderful spring break.